Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I'm going to be reading some picture books. Alright, so I'm doing this to take part in the Picture This Readathon. It is a readathon that is hosted by Jack from Spread Bookjoy and Shelley from, I don't remember her channel name. It's her name. I just don't remember her last name, but I will link them both down below. The Picture This Readathon is a readathon that takes place the entire month of April, and it is to read picture books, which I love. I have my youngest is 4, so he is still in picture book territory mindset, and so I'm definitely very familiar with picture books, but I like this idea of reading picture books as adults for adult enjoyment. Sorry. And so yeah, there are 6 different prompts, and I have a huge stack of picture books from my library. I don't know if I can even hold them all, like, oh my goodness, it's heavy. So I have a huge stack here that I got from my library that I'm going to be reading through, and most of these fill a prompt. I think I'm going to read them like grouped into prompts, but some of them do fill multiple prompts. Anyway, I digress. The 6 prompts are home, quiet, red, green, space, and friendship. Those are not in any particular order. I just came up with them. So those are the different prompts, and so I thought that I would just kind of read through these and share them with you as I'm reading them, what I'm thinking about them, and kind of go from there. So let's just kind of get into this. I want to start with the home prompt. So I have 4 books for this prompt. The first of which is Island-Born by Junot Diaz, and so I want to read this one. I also have The House of Grass and Sky. This is by Mary Lynn Ray and illustrated by E.B. Goodale. So this one will fit the home prompt. I also picked up Home. This is by Carson Ellis. I got this because I saw Gloria Thompson actually have this on her TBR, and I loved the cover, so I just grabbed it. And then the last one that I got is Good Morning Neighbor, and so I thought that this one would fit the home prompt as well. This is by David Kali, I don't know, and Maria Deck. So anyway, those are the 4 books that I am planning on reading for the home prompt, and I will check in with you when I get done reading them. All right, so I really enjoyed all of these, actually. The one out of this group that I enjoyed the most has got to be The House of Grass and Sky. I had no idea what this book was about. I just grabbed it because it had a house on the cover. And I thought that this would actually fill another prompt as well. And this one was absolutely wonderful. It is about a house that gets built out in the countryside, and a family lives there and with children, and they have their memories there, and then they leave, and the house is waiting for another family to come and fill it with new memories, and it's so wonderful. And so I want to see, there's a specific page that I loved the illustrations of, this one specific page, because you can see the silhouettes of the kids in this house's memories, and it was so beautiful. I loved this one. All right, and then the other ones, Good Morning Neighbor is about a bunch of animals. This mouse needs an egg for something that it's making, goes to a neighbor. The neighbor doesn't have an egg, but it has flour, and it's like, if we can get flour and an egg, we can make a cake. So let's go see this other neighbor to see if they have an egg. And as they go to each of their neighbors, nobody has an egg, but they each have a different ingredient to make a cake. And so by the time they do finally find the egg and they get the cake made, they're trying to figure out how many slices do they need. And they're like, okay, well, this person contributed this and this and this. And they get all the way around, and the mouse hadn't contributed anything to the actual cake. And so they weren't going to give the mouse a piece of the cake. And then they decided, oh, wait, it was actually the mouse's idea. You know, the mouse gave us the idea to have the cake, so he gets a slice of the cake as well. And so I actually really like that lesson, and it was a really sweet story. And so, yeah, I really like this one. More about neighborhoods than actual home. Okay, this one, home, was very simplistic. I think I like the idea of this one more than the actual execution. The execution was just okay for me. The illustrations were fine. Here's like a tour bus that is one of the examples of somewhere that you could have a home. This one was kind of fun, a Japanese businessman and a Norse god. So that was kind of fun. But the illustrations were cute, but it was just okay for me. And then this one was the wordiest of the four. And this is about a little girl who has an assignment in school to, she has a very, very diverse class, and her teacher has given them all the assignment to draw a picture of the country where they are originally from. And excuse me, she is originally from an island. The island it's never mentioned, named in the book itself. But she left when she was a baby, and so she doesn't remember any of it. And so her teacher basically suggests that she talk to her neighbors and her family to see if they have any memories of the island and draw a picture based off that. So this is really a story of her going to all of her surrounding neighborhood and family and learning about the place that she's from. And it was very cute. I really, really like this one too. So those are the 4 books that I read for the home prompt. Let's move on. Next, let's do the space prompt. Let's see, I think I have 3 books. Nope, I have 4. 4 books for this prompt. Make sure I have all of them. The first is Once Upon a Star, A Poetic Journey Through Space. The next one that I have is Star-Crossed. Oh, I didn't mention who this one was by. This is by James Carter and Mar Hernandez. This one is by Julia Denos. All right, and then I have A Long Way Away. This is a story, a 2-way story by Frank Viva. So you can read it this way and this way, A Long Way Away. So I thought that this would be interesting. And then the last one I have is The Spacesuit, How a Seamstress Helped Put Man on the Moon by Allison Donald and Ariel Landy. And so, yeah, this is kind of a nonfiction book. So anyway, I'm going to read these 4 and let you know what I think of them. All right, so I've read these 4 books. My favorite of the 4 is definitely Star-Crossed. This was beautiful. Like, even the art on the cover, which is what drew me into it, is beautiful. I'm gonna see if I can find like a specific page. Like, look at this. This is just gorgeous. And this is inspired by, I guess, there's an author's note at the end. And so the constellation Eridanus, one of the brightest stars in Eridanus is called Akamar, and the 2 characters in the book are Eridani and Akamar. But Akamar is actually a binary star, which means it's actually like 2 companion stars that appear as 1 star to us. And so this is about like a little girl on Earth and a constellation made of stars, and how they're friends and they talk to each other and then they wish to be where the other one is, and so they swap places. But the illustrations are so beautiful, and it was a good one. I really liked it. The other ones were fine. I will say, like, A Long Way Away, this was probably my least favorite. It was very basic. The illustrations were fine, but the wording was just okay, and it was okay. It was fine. Once Upon a Star was good. This is the poetry one. It's about the Big Bang, which is not something I wholeheartedly believe in, so, which is fine. The illustrations style in this, I really actually like quite a bit. It's very like retro kind of, and I liked that. But the the poetry was fine. Like I like this page. I think it's kind of cool. So yeah, and then the spacesuit was actually really interesting. It was just kind of basic though, and this is just about a seamstress who is on the team that sews the first spacesuit. So they had a competition for teams that would compete to have the spacesuit, and so or to make the spacesuit, and her team won. And it's based off of the real person that did that, which is kind of a cool thing to think about. I think a lot of us don't think about that when we think about the moon landing and all of that, is that somebody had to be hired to design the spacesuits. So anyway, that was kind of a cool book. So those were my space books, what I thought of those. All right, now let's see where we're at. I gotta rotate my pile because I can't really see. Now let's do Red. So Red is are my next books, and I have 3 of these. The first of which is A Scarf for Kiko. This is a book about Japanese internment camp and a girl who has a friend who goes to a Japanese internment camp. I know that. I also have Red, which is a Little Red Riding Hood book, I'm assuming. And then I also have Red and Lulu. This is actually a Christmas book. So I'm going to read these and then let you know what I think. All right, so I finished these. I loved this. Red and Lulu. I forgot to say who these were by. So this one is by Matt Tavares. This is about a pair of cardinals who live in a spruce tree in someone's yard, and then one day while one of them is out finding food, some people come and cut the tree down and take it to New York, and it becomes the Rockefeller Christmas tree. And so Red follows the tree to New York and eventually finds it, and they end up living in New York, the pair of birds do. There was one in particular page that I really loved this illustration. I love cardinals anyway. And so, and then there's an author's note in the end that explains about the Rockefeller Christmas tree and the tradition and how it started. And I thought that that was really interesting as well. So I really, really like this one. And then I also really liked A Scarf for Kiko. This is by Anne Malaspina, illustrated by Marilee Lydiard. And this is about a little boy, Sam, who is learning to knit in school. They're trying to make socks for the soldiers to send overseas, so they're learning how to knit. And his next door neighbor is Kiko, who is also in his class at school, and eventually her family gets sent to an internment camp, and so he ends up making her a scarf. It does go through kind of him being unsure if he should talk to her because of the way that the Japanese Americans were treated right after Pearl Harbor. And him kind of wrestling with that. And so this is a very like age appropriate book for little ones, to kind of get a grasp and a first like dipping your toe into this whole very complex issue with World War II. But this I thought was a really good one. And then the last one, Red, is a wordless picture book, and it is very, very simple, and it just follows little Red as she is walking through the woods and sees a few things and the wolf and all of that. And so I really did like the illustrations in this one. The black and white with just little pops of red, I thought was really interesting. And so yeah, that was that one. Oh, and this one is by Jed Alexander. So there's that. All right, next prompt is green. And so, like I said before, I had picked this one because I thought that it would work for green as well, which just because it has a lot of green on the cover. But the other two that I have Grandpa Green by Lane Smith. And I also, this is a more child one, is Panda Pants by Jacqueline Davies. So those are the two that I'm going to read for green and let you know what I think of them. So I finished these two. Panda Pants was just really cute. It is about a panda who wants a pair of pants, and he's telling his mom or dad or grown up that he wants pants, and his mom and dad isn't, or whatever, is insisting that he does not need pants, and he just keeps going and going about how he wants pants, and it is really cute illustrations, really cute book. So I really, really enjoyed that one. And then the other one that I read was Grandpa Green, and I loved this one so much. This is about a boy's great grandfather who is a horticulturalist, and the illustrations are all in topiaries, and it's really good. It talks about him going to World War II, and like that's the illustration for World War II because you have the cannon, which I just think was it's so cool. The illustrations in this one, this is his kids and grandkids and great grandkids, and how his family has just kept multiplying. And then it talks about how he used to remember everything, and now that he's pretty old, his garden remembers things for him. And it has some flip outs that have more topiaries, and it was just really sweet, very green, and I really, really like this one. And this was by Lane Smith, so I recommend that one. That was really sweet to read. All right, next prompt is Quiet, and the books that I have for Quiet, I have The Midnight Library by Kuzono Kohara. I have The Quiet Place by Sarah Stewart and illustrated by David Small. I have The Secret Fawn by Callie George and Ellie McMay. And then I also have Quiet by Tommy De Paola. Sorry. So I have quite a few for this one, but I'm going to read them and let you know what I think. All right, so I read these four. Hands down, my favorite one is The Secret Fawn. This is beautiful. The illustrations in this book, you guys, I can't even. Look at this. Like, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. It's so pretty. It's about a little girl who's the youngest in her family and always misses out on the fun things. And so she goes out into the woods to try to find a deer that everybody else in her family has seen, and she hasn't. And instead, she finds its fawn. And it was super, super sweet, and I loved it. It was beautiful. The illustrations were gorgeous. And then the rest of them were okay. This one I actually liked quite a bit. The Quiet Place. This is set in the 1950s, and it is about a girl who immigrates from Mexico to the U.S., and she is writing letters to her aunt in Mexico and just kind of explaining what she's going through. But one of the things that she does is she starts building box forts as her quiet place, her safe space, that like help her to feel safe. And so she's telling her aunt all about all these boxes that she's getting to create her quiet place. And so yeah, that one was really sweet. The Midnight Library was just cute. It was fun. The illustration style was kind of monochromatic and just cute, about a little girl who runs a midnight library with 3 owls, and talks about the different things in the library, the activity room and the story corner, and helping people get a new library card and that kind of thing. And so that was fun. And then the last one was Quiet by Tommy De Paola. I cannot say his last name. He's not my favorite, so I got this one to try it. He's not my favorite. This one was fine. It's just basically a story about sitting still and being quiet and allowing yourself to just be still, instead of hurrying and rushing and always doing something. So it was fine. But his illustration style is not my favorite either, so that was that for me. All right, last prompt is Friendship, and the ones I have for that, I have Linus the Little Yellow Pencil by Scott Magoon. I saw that at my library and just thought that was so cute. And then I have Pole and Lars by Cashel Gorley and illustrated by Skylar Hogan. Like, that just looks like so much fun. So those are the two that I have that I haven't already read. A lot of these would qualify for friendship. Scarf for Kiko, Red and Lulu, let's see, Star-Crossed. So a few of these would also qualify for friendship books, but these are the two that I haven't read yet. So I'll read them and then let you know. All right, so these were both really cute. These are both obviously just fun books. This is about a little girl, Poe, who almost gets eaten by a bear, Lars, a polar bear, Lars, and then they end up becoming friends in the Arctic. And the illustration, sorry, I've been trying to show you guys at least a little bit of the illustration styles. You can hear my kids, sorry. Well, I'm trying to find a good page. I was trying to find a good page. There's Lars. He's really cute. So, and they end up kind of working together so they can both be a team and get what they want. And so that was fun. And then I really like the message in Linus, the little yellow pencil. This is about Linus, who wants to enter an art contest, but his eraser Ernie has other plans. And so this is about Linus and Ernie learning how to work together instead of against each other, and how when you work together you can create even better art than you can individually. And it was really cute. I really liked it. So those were my friendship books. All right, and then I have 3 books here that I got just because they looked cute and I wanted to get them. And so those are Castle of Books by Alessandro Sana. Let's see, what's this? The Remember Balloons by Jesse Oliveros and illustrated by Dana Wolficott. And this last one is The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore by William Joyce. So I'm going to read these last 3 and let you know what I think. All right, so these are actually really good. This one was a little simple, Castle of Books. It just starts with saying, why do we need books? And then it's like one-word answers with kind of fun illustrations. So, you know, to discover, to invent, to understand, things like that. But some of the illustrations are really fun and the art style is kind of cool. So that one was fun. And then these other 2 were just like, whew, this one is like the one book that I've read today that actually got me teary-eyed. The Remember Balloons. This is about a little boy whose grandfather is dealing with memory loss. And so each of his memories is portrayed as a balloon and a different color balloon. So like initially the grandfather is like telling the stories like the yellow balloon is, you know, when we were done picking blackberries and, you know, as a kid. And the purple balloon was, oops, where did it go? There it is. The purple balloon was when I married your grandmother, and different things like that. And then the little boy starts noticing that Grandpa starts losing some of his balloons. And his parents eventually are like, it's okay because now you have new balloons. And he looks up and he sees that he has his grandpa's memories. And so he gets to share his balloons with his grandpa. And it was very sweet. And then The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore is just a fun book about storytelling and the importance of storytelling, and it follows Mr. Morris Lesmore as he writes his life story, and near the end a girl finds his story and so begins her love of reading and books. And so this one was really fun too. The illustration style is very good, very fun. So that one, it was a really good one as well. So that's it. Those are all of the picture books that I'm going to read today. Let's see. My favorites of the day. I really, really enjoyed Grandpa Green by Lane Smith. I did really enjoy the Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore. I thoroughly enjoyed The Remember Balloons by Jesse Oliveros. And then also, this one I really liked, Linus the Little Yellow Puzzle. I'm trying to find, where did it go? There it is. The Secret Fawn by Callie George and Ellie McKay the illustrations were just absolutely breathtaking. And then I also really enjoyed Star-Crossed and The House of Grass and Sky. So those are my favorites of the bunch. So I highly recommend picking up any of these if you get the opportunity. And always remember that these are my favorites. Always remember the picture books are not just for kids, they're for everybody. And you can enjoy picture books just as much as an adult as you can a child. And thank you so much, Jack and Shelley, for hosting this readathon. Like I said, all of their information will be linked down below, as well as all of these books that I have read today and shared with you. And that's going to do it for today. So I know this was a little different for me, but I hope that you found value in what I had to share with you today. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.